So the first thing we're gonna do for our salsa is char our chilies. I have a very hot cast iron pan here. It's dry. I didn't put any oil or anything on it. I just washed these and I dried them. And what we're gonna do is char them until they are, nicely blackened and soft. So I have 5 jalapeños and 2 serranos here, and what we're looking for is for it to char like this, but a lot more. I need it to soften. Okay, now that these are nice and soft, I'm gonna set them aside. I want these to continue cooking. So I'm just gonna move them on the side, and I'm going to add a piece of white onion and 2 garlic cloves with the skin. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna char this, to finish our salsa. So here are our chilies, our onion. You can see it's nicely blistered. Here's the garlic, and our chilies are nice and soft. I'm gonna let these cool down. All right, now we're going to get these ready for blending. So I'm just gonna put this in the blender. I want you to remove the stems from your chilies. If you are not used to handling chilies, you might want to use gloves for this, okay? Also, I'm leaving the seeds in here because I want it to be nice and spicy, but if you don't want it that spicy, go ahead and cut it open and take the seeds out, okay? I'm going to peel the garlic. So I'm gonna add half of a large garlic clove, raw, and I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of oil. I'm using avocado oil. You can use olive oil or vegetable oil. Salt, and about 1/2 cup of water. And here is our wicked, masochistic, very spicy roasted jalapeno and roasted serrano salsa. We're going to husk and wash 8 tomatillos and put them in a pan. As you can see, I filled it with water, just enough to cover the tomatillos. I'm gonna put 2 serrano peppers and a jalapeno in there, like this, not taking the stems or anything off. I'm adding 2 garlic cloves and a piece of white onion. I'm going to simmer this for about 20 minutes until the tomatillos are no longer bright green. They're gonna turn kind of brownish, and we'll finish our salsa. Our tomatillos are ready. As I told you, they would change color, and they did. So now we're gonna transfer this to a blender. All right, so the tomatillos, the onion, and the garlic are in here. I pressed down the tomatillos so that they fit, and there's enough liquid in there, so I'm not gonna add any of the liquid they cooked in. I don't need to. If you think you need to, then just add a little more, okay? We're gonna remove the stems from our chilies. If you don't wanna get that on your fingers, just cut them off with a knife or use some gloves. I will leave the seeds in because we want this to have medium heat. I'm also gonna add a handful of cilantro with the stems. This has been washed. Finally, I'm adding a small garlic clove. If your cloves are big, do half. Don't overdo it with this. It's gonna give it a beautiful flavor, but if it's too much, it'll overpower. I'm gonna add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cumin and salt. Here's our beautiful medium heat salsa. This salsa is beautiful in its simplicity, and it is really over the top delicious. So in my blender, I have 2 small avocados. I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of water. It's a little bit. I'm using a large jalapeno. As you can see, I seeded and took the main brain out of half, and I left the other intact. Depending on how much heat you want, you can use a smaller jalapeno. You can get rid of all the seeds and membranes. It depends on you, okay? I'm gonna put a small bunch of cilantro in here, handful. It's got the stems on, and it's washed. I'm going to squeeze half a lime in here. About a tablespoon of oil. This is avocado oil. You can use olive oil as long as it's not super strong olive flavor. It'll be fine, any oil. and salt. We'll taste it after it's done and adjust the salt if we have to. And here we have a creamy, delicious, fabulous salsa that you can use with whatever you want. Very nice with chips, by the way.